my channel. I hope you're all well. So in this video we are going to be reviewing the absolutely awesome, absolutely epic Avengers Endgame movie. This movie was just everything you would have wanted and then some, and I'm really glad that there were no spoilers leaked and that the trailers didn't reveal too much, because this movie is just such a brilliant film, an epic conclusion to the 11 years that we've spent in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, spanning 22 movies. This is just such a monumental film and just cinematic event that's actually never really happened before, and the epic conclusion to 3 massive phases of Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. There was a lot riding on this, and yeah, I'm just really glad that the end result is as awesome as it is, and I cannot wait to go into this spoiler-free review with you guys. So obviously I won't reveal too much about the plot as we'll enter spoiler territory, but what I will say is that the remaining Avengers are trying to undo the final events at the end of Infinity War, where Thanos did his famous finger snap which wiped out and vaporized half of the universe. So the remaining Avengers are trying to get used to life and trying to do what they can to bring everyone back. So that's kind of like the basic premise of the film. And that's kind of all I'll say in terms of the plot. And what I will say is that, this film is just such an awesome superhero movie. It's got everything you would have wanted in it and then some. It's got great action, great visuals, great storytelling, great characters. Just everything about it is just really cool. And it's got lots of Easter eggs in there as well. We've obviously invested 11 years in these characters, and the film knows it because it's able to put you into certain situations in the film, and you can kind of really feel what they're feeling, and you can kind of go on this emotional roller coaster in this film with lots of twists and turns. And yeah, the storyline is just really cool, and it's really good because we've invested, like I said, 11 years and 22 films into this monumental moment, and the film producers are very aware of it. So they're able to put characters in certain situations that they know are going to really pull at your heartstrings and make you be really happy and euphoric, and similarly be really upset and start crying. So from an emotional point of view, this movie is really cool. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that it's a really cool movie to watch in the cinema, like watching it on release date without any spoilers or any leaks or anything like that. It was a really nice cinematic experience, because there are certain moments in this film where you're really happy, and the entire cinema, kid you not, everyone was just like cheering and screaming and crying together, and it was just really cool in terms of an experiential cinematic experience point of view. So the storytelling in this film is just next level. So the acting and the characters in this film honestly is just awesome. If you've watched my other movie reviews, you'll know that I'm a really big fan of great ensemble character-driven movies, and this film is just the pinnacle of what that looks like. We all know the characters that survived the snap, so the majority of them are the original 6 that started up the Avengers in the first place, with a couple of other different characters and actors thrown there in the mix as well. And as an ensemble piece, they all just work together so well. They work together in 2 main ways. Firstly, as a group, they all work really well. So you can really feel the intensity of certain scenes, and then the humor of certain scenes as well, with certain different characters. And then individually they work really well as well. So obviously over these 11 years we've known these characters and we've seen them being put in certain different situations, and you can kind of really understand why they're feeling certain ways with other characters and why they're kind of thinking certain things. So from a character-driven point of view, it's really cool. And all of the different characters kind of go on their own different arcs as well. So the character arcs in this film are really cool as well. Because it's been 11 years, it does kind of feel a bit like a TV show, and I feel like a TV show is able to exaggerate that to another level, because you're investing 40 minutes per episode on these different characters. And this film is kind of like that in a different kind of way, because you've spent hours on these individual character movies, and because of that, you know them really well, and you kind of know all the other characters that they've interacted with and all of that sort of stuff. So because of all of that, this movie has such a backlog of emotions and situations and everything that they can kind of throw these characters into, and because of that, it's just such a brilliant character-driven movie. The visuals in this movie are just truly outstanding. Everything about this film, especially the visuals, is just so epic. You know, all the fight sequences, all the superpowers, all the different camera angles, all of the CGI, everything just looks absolutely magnificent. And you know, in terms of CGI, you know, even recent movies have had a bit of questionable CGI. You know, Shazam was released quite a few weeks ago, and you know, in that movie, I mean, you can check out my video review of Shazam, and in that you'll see that I was not a big fan of the CGI in that film. I kind of feel like whilst Shazam was a really good movie, the CGI kind of took away from it a little bit. But in this film, the CGI is just so good. Everything just looks absolutely amazing. You're never once thinking, oh, this looks a bit fake, this is obviously done in front of a green screen or anything like that. Everything just looks so real, so, you know, you can feel like you're in this world, so everything just looks so good. So comparisons are a really interesting one, because obviously there's been nothing like Avengers Endgame ever happened before. There's never been a, you know, a concluding movie to 22 preceding films. This is, you know, a monumental event that's never really happened before. So comparisons are really interesting, but let's just do some because we've got this topic. So in terms of Infinity War, I would say they're very different movies. Obviously I'm not going to reveal the plot and the whole, you know, the way in which the film is run or anything like that, but, you know, I would say Infinity War is a very different kind of film. It is a very different kind of movie. I can't really elaborate. But in terms of Avengers movies, you know, I would say this is definitely the best one. They kind of get better as they go along, which is, you know, one thing I would say thus far in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Each film, you know, sequel and, you know, just all of the ways in which they kind of do all the movies, they do gradually just get better and better and better. And I just feel like, you know, Avengers Endgame is no different, because it is just, yeah, just such an awesome film that is unlike anything else. I feel like it's in its own kind of category, so, you know, there's no other film like it, and there probably will never be another film like it again in the future. So, you know, Avengers Endgame is just absolutely awesome. So as I'm sure you can tell, I found this movie just absolutely awesome. It was just such a perfect, epic, and real fitting, you know, bookend conclusion to this 22 movie arc series that we've been watching over 11 years. Just absolutely awesome. You know, the acting, the storytelling, the characters, the visuals, just everything about this film was just absolutely awesome. I know there's been a lot of, you know, a lot of comments and a lot of hype and, you know, people making a big deal of the runtime, but I honestly thought that 3 hours for this film was absolutely acceptable. If anything, I would have wanted more. I feel like 3 hours just, you know, went really quickly, and, you know, I feel like that was just made into a way bigger deal than it needed to be. And, you know, like I said before, this movie is just in its own category. There's never been anything like it, and there probably will never be anything like it again. And, you know, this movie is just absolutely awesome. And because of that, it is going to get a perfect 10 out of 10 from me. This movie is just absolutely awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend going to see it, because it's just a masterpiece, and it is something that should be watched in the cinema, because it's just, yeah, it's just, you know, epic beyond belief, and it should just be viewed within that cinematic experience point of view. And yeah, I absolutely love this movie, and I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.